Good morning. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel, and I hope that you can hear me. What's up, Slatherings? Yeah, I guess you're right. It is the $1,000,000 question. Hopefully, we can put it into perspective. We'll take calls towards the end or towards the middle, even if you feel like you want to call in and talk. It's going to be pretty much the same topic the entire time. I think we got some good stuff here to present. What's up, Brad? Rescue all the dogs. Carol. Beth, good to see you. Happy 4th of July to you and your family. That goes to everybody out there. V, what's up? Soliata, what's up? Karen, Beach Fairy, Julianne. Let's see, Brett Decker, Frank Meister. What's up, Frank? Happy 4th. Me, myself, good to see you. Says, I did participate in the poll. I picked We'll Wait and See. Yeah, I got some good stuff today, guys. I think it might, if you're 40-60, this might make you 50-50. At least it did for me, and it always has. I just don't feel like I've been able to articulate the things that I'm seeing and the way I feel about this and the way I want to. Hey, what's up, Deb? Deb's True Crime Notebook. Happy 4th. Happy 4th to you, Karen. Thank you, Rain Dancer. I always appreciate that. You too, Frank. Anthony, what's up? Good to see you, Anthony. Ruckus, what up, Ruckus? Eminem. Silas, what's up, Jinx? Gail, good to see you, Gail. Happy Independence Day. Brad says, I'm a wait and see kind of person. I wish I was that kind of person. I mean, I can be patient strategically, but by nature, no. GP, good to see you. Rain Dancer. Tam B. Happy 4th. All right, let's get started. I'm not quite sure where I want to begin. I'm thinking the unredacted updated PCA. There's 2 pages there that I think are going to kick off our conversation. We're not going to read a whole lot today. We're going to just hit bullet points and spend some time mostly in the chat. So bear with me. I'm going to pull up my screen here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Right, take down the thumbnail, and there is the document here. So this, I think, is the most updated version that we have within the document dump that we received recently. Good to see you, Marie. What's up, V? Beach says, I would not be surprised. And that's where I'm at. I'm kind of right at that 50-50, but I'm leaning more towards connected for sure. Tattoo, what's up? Mark Collins, good to see you, Mark. What's up, D? Happy 4th. Welcome to the chat. All right, guys, I'm staying on top of the chat pretty good today, I think. Sela Stingy says, I change my mind every day, so I'll wait and see. It's a safe bet. Me, I'm like I can't sit still. I rather wait while I search kind of person. No hurt in reading documents, you know. Gail says, is it possible for one CSAM to hack into another CSAM for anyone to hack in? Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I wonder how many cases are out there where you have a smart, sophisticated criminal who is uses catfish as a means to gain access to victims. Catfishing maybe somebody who's not so smart, like maybe like a Kegan Kline, catfish them into doing things. If you look in the Schillmiller case, it was a catfish. He was really smart. He was able to convince people that he's never met that he was some rich old guy. And it started with CSAM, kind of like the Kegan Kline stuff that they found on his phones, but this person was able to convince a female in Alaska to commit CSAM on her own family members, young children, I think the age of 3, and send them back. So once he got her to do that, he basically knew that he could get her to do anything. And he made her create an attack on film, very similar to what happened to Abby and Libby. There was a creek. This girl was lured out there into the woods, and it was like a fake snuff film. No, it was a real snuff film, and she thought it was a fake one. They tied her up, and then when she was tied up, they attacked her. And this was all done by some ugly, fat loser in a basement, his mother's basement, playing puppeteer without lifting any heavy tools, not even leaving his home. And he was able to perpetrate this crime on the other side of the country. So when you don't think it's a serious thing, when people are threatening you, doxing you, or coming at you online, sometimes they don't have to get to you. All they got to do is get to some idiot near you to come get you. And if we learned anything from the Schillmiller case, it's not that hard. What's up, Chris Owens? If Alan and Kegan Kline are connected, my question is how? I mean, even with all these documents that have come out, I still haven't seen any connection. I think if there is a connection, it's going to be in Peru. And the connection doesn't have to be directly with Kegan Kline. It could be with an associate of Kegan Kline. It could be somebody, a friend of a family member. Really all they have to do is be in a room one time talking about any inappropriate stuff for him to gain access to the Anthony Shots account. He could go about his business from there, having access, Kegan Kline not giving a shit, knowing what the purpose of that account is for. It's for perverts and pedophiles. GP's asking, what do we think the motive would be? Okay, are we going to look through the filter that they are connected? And if they are connected, what would the motive be? If I had to guess, and this is pure speculation, if there is a connection, at some point they were in a room together. Kegan Kline or somebody that Kegan Kline knows says, hey, check this out. The person that's showing, let's say Richard Allen's in that room. This person is showing Richard Allen the CSAM, how they gained access, and all he does is ask, "Can I have access?" Sure, here's the password. He now has access. He goes about his business, continues communicating with Libby, right? Continues on without Kegan or anybody else's knowledge. He now is doing his own thing with the account. You know, these other catfishers, they're like, we would never meet in person. You know, we're content with this. We're content living this fantasy life where we get these pictures. People think we're rich and famous, and you know that we're businessmen, and we're living these really exciting lives, right? Get these young people excited about it. Oh man, this guy's got money. This and he's only 19. That's not too old, you know. And then they can get him to do things, but they know once they meet them, the fantasy's gone. So I have a feeling that Richard Allen wasn't prepared for that. He's not content. And this is the hypothetical, right? If there is a connection and this is all true, they, you know, Kegan or somebody that Kegan knows provided access to Richard Allen. We're looking through that filter. So if he is connected, we can see him. He's not abiding by the rules, right? He doesn't understand how social media works. He's going through a rough time with his wife. He's looking for companionship or even to lash out. He's looking for a target. He feels anonymous. He feels he can do that if he chooses to. But I believe that he thought he had a connection with Libby. Maybe he thought he could be himself. He thought they had a real relationship. And that wasn't the case. He was being maybe catfished at that point. Or just taking it too far, maybe there was a real relationship there, and maybe he just waited right there by the bridge and just looked at the girls, and they kind of laughed at him, and he wasn't expecting that. You know, he's like, okay, I'm going to be myself. I've been being myself. You know, they liked me as Anthony Shots, they're going to like me now. But he's standing out there being himself. But then again, why would he be overdressed, right? So his anger this encounter may have already happened maybe the day before, like where he was turned down or made fun of or exposed or even threatened. I'm not sure. Chris Owen says, was Libby the target or could it have been Abby? I think if there is a connection, and we don't know, but if there is a connection, I think Libby would be the target just because of what we learned in Kegan Kline's transcript. You know, she was the target. So the question is, if they are connected, that means that the Anthony Shots profile was the tool used to target the girls, right? So and I think that what may have caused all the problems was that the person that introduced Libby to Kegan Kline knew Kegan Kline personally. And I think that if they would have picked somebody else, we may have not found these killers. I think that's the connection right there. So I think Richard Allen, if he is connected, he was already pissed off. You know, so we'll scratch all that. You know, he wasn't waiting to get a reaction from them. He was there to kill them. So he may have already gotten that reaction. Maybe the day before he was exposed. But if we read Kegan Kline's transcript, the investigators keep saying over and over that Libby was completely sold on this account. And that it wasn't just, you know, a simple back and forth. Like there was the money account. She really thought this was a real person. So that throws out kind of the junior detective theory, and that this person knew that Libby had fallen for the profile and the ruse and was now in total control. But you got to ask yourself, why were they targeting them? I think that there's a chance that it could have been for ritual reasons. You know, I need you to be over here at a certain time, cross the bridge on 2/13. I need you at a certain place by 3 p.m. I mean, I think there's that possibility as well. That could be the motive. It could have been anybody. Whoever they could get to cross the bridge on 2/13 at 2/13 to be at the crime scene by 3, during like what is it, the Lupercalia or whatever, this whole pagan thing. So I mean, I think there's a small percentage that could be the motive, only because of all the weird numerology and stuff. What's up, Maserati? I would say kidnapping gone wrong if there's a connection with Richard Allen and KK. Yeah, if he was dressed and prepared, maybe he was prepared to do a kidnapping. But then again, you don't kidnap somebody and walk a mile with that person, right? So that kind of leads you down a rabbit hole. Okay, well, was there a car parked under the private drive? There was no reports of that. What's he going to do? Walk him back across the bridge at gunpoint, down the trail, back to the CPS building? I mean, how is it a kidnapping? I mean, it's obviously a kidnapping, but I mean, how is it a planned kidnapping? Because he could have easily parked at the Mears lot, blocked out his license plate, and just snatched somebody right there. He could have gone to a neighboring town. Like, why them? Why there? Why at that time? Just doesn't make any sense. Handsome Kent, what's up? Yeah, I agree. He had intent from the start. Because when you walk through it and you try to talk about it, talk your way through it, of him not being planned, it just doesn't make sense. It's like he was there that day to commit a murder. The question is, was he there to kill Abby and Libby? Why has he got so many layers on? Why does he got his gun? Why does he have a blade? Why does he have a jacket over a hoodie over some weird hat? His face covered. I mean, it's obviously planned out, right? Cheryl Jean. What if the girls were trying to corner a pedophile? They were talking to Kegan as Anthony shots. Maybe they knew there was some reason they took that photo of the bridge guy. Yeah, it could be. Maybe they thought they were going to run into Kegan Kline out there. They weren't really intimidated. But then they see this older man and they're like, "Oh wow, what did we just do?" But that does remind me, in the PCA, they say that the video actually catches them going down the hill. So they know exactly where they went down. Right? The guy's walking towards them, the girls say, "He has a gun," or "gun." And then he just keeps coming towards them. Something happens right at that point. I'm thinking an attack grabs them. Something that investigators like Jerry Holman didn't want the public to see or didn't want the family to have to be exposed to. So I'm thinking that was maybe a quick assault or something that was said by the girls, like, "Oh my God, this is not the person," or something happened at that moment right before they went down the hill that they didn't want to release that video. But here in the PCA, it states clearly that they were going down the hill and then the video ends. So they know where they went down. Yep, Anthony overdressed to conceal what he has already planned to do. Did he have a large weapon, a large bladed weapon? Did he have items? I don't know. This could be like a shock staging. Richard Allen could be out there hurting the kids, for something their parents did, something Delphi did. The killer could just be lashing out, mad at his own family members, frustrated. Somebody's going to pay. Mr. Shores. Libby wasn't necessarily the target for the actual murder, in my opinion. She was the front girl doing all the communications. I think they were equal to Richard Allen. He just wanted to kill. Yeah, I mean, there are people that just want to thrill kill. Like, you want to kill? Yeah, let's kill. Okay, when do you want to do it? Next week. Okay, well, what are we going to do? Well, let's lure these girls out to the woods, and we'll do it there. Yeah, that's a great idea. Two psychopaths in the same room. Ruckus says there's more to that PC. What do you think, Ruckus? Like what? RMB, has anyone ever 100% proven that KK transcript was a real interrogation? I think we're past that, RMB. We are past that. Don't get your foot caught up in the weeds. That's a good question, Mark Craven. If Richard Allen is guilty, has he done this before? What kind of history does he have? That's a great question. Profilers and experts say there's no way this is not his first time. But you got to think about it. We don't even know if Richard Allen is the hands-on person, right? He could be, and he most likely is. And he most likely is a lone wolf. Not, I wouldn't say most likely, but it is likely that he's out there for his own motives, his own reasons, and only he can provide that information. May not have been targeted. But yeah, if he did go hands-on and he's the one that committed these murders physically, I think it is likely that he may confess to other crimes. I don't see how you go 50 years and then you just commit a double homicide. I just don't see that. And he almost got away with this one. So because he lied about the Wabash search and they found nothing. So now they don't believe him. I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's get into this here. We're already 23 minutes into the stream. I think we'll start here. So this is the new updated, unredacted probable cause affidavit. And here, that in September of 2022, while reviewing the evidence in the investigation into the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German, investigators discovered an interview that was done with Richard Allen in 2017 by Indiana Conservation Officer Dan Doolin. Okay, so let's skip all the way over to the tip narrative. There's a little bit more information here. Okay. So here it gives us the date. So this is what's going to kind of drive today's conversation. So at the beginning, it says in September. Here they give us a specific date, September 21st, 2022. It was Detective Leggett was provided a tip narrative. Okay, from Orion. So now we're like, what the hell is Orion? Let's take a look. So Orion allows the FBI and its partners to coordinate crisis situations no matter how many personnel are involved or where they are located. Now we have such a tool, a next generation system built from the ground up by our investigators and technology experts. We call it Orion, the Operational Response and Investigative Online Network. Orion gives the FBI and its partners a real-time online network to quickly and effectively coordinate efforts in crisis situations, no matter how many law enforcement personnel are involved, where they might be located, or how big the case. Let's go back to that document. So, and looks like this is the Orion identification number here. But the question is, who provided it? Why did they have it? September. What would be something that could trigger this, right? So we know during the month of September of 2022, they were conducting a search of the Wabash River. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So remember that date, September 21st, 2022 is when Leggett was provided that tip or that information, that identification number from Orion. Okay, so I went back as far as September 1st, and we can look at this one together. This was put out by Fox 59 on the 1st of September around 3 p.m. Delphi murders, potential break in the 2017. Mystery emerges after podcast hosts receive anonymous tip. So this is when the murder sheet was knee deep in this whole process here, talking about sources, kind of helping us lean one way or the other. So let's go ahead and take a look here. A potential break in the 2017 murders of two teenage girls in Delphi, Indiana has emerged. Liberty German and Abby Williams were found murdered on the morning of February 13th, 2017, after German's sister dropped the pair off at the entrance of a hiking trail the day prior. Journalist Danya Kane and attorney Kevin Greenlee, who host the Murder Sheet podcast and have been following the Delphi murder case, received an anonymous tip that led them to the Wabash River in Peru, Indiana. On August 23rd, where they witnessed and photographed authorities searching the water with various tools. So one of their sources said, hey, you need to go down to the Wabash River. They're searching it because of Delphi. And here's a quote from them. We just kind of ran up there ourselves to see what was happening, and we witnessed a search of about 12 personnel in the river looking over things. Kane told Fox News Digital they had buckets, shovels. They seemed to have devices that we felt could have been metal detectors, and Indiana State Police vehicles were parked next to the river. We documented that, then looked at sort of a confluence of events that we felt were likely related based on what our anonymous sources have told us. Sergeant Jerry Pierce, public information officer for the ISP Lafayette District, said ISP did have dive teams in the area that day, but could not confirm whether they were conducting training exercises or a search. So it's like they didn't want to tip anybody off. He could not confirm any additional information. Indiana court documents obtained by Kane and Greenlee in May and August also indicate possible development in the case. On August 19th, the ISP petitioned the Miami County Circuit Court for custody of an Indiana man named Kegan Kline. Kline is currently in custody in Miami County for 30 counts of child pornography-related charges dating back to 2016 and 2017. Kline has been previously linked to the Delphi murders. He was reportedly in contact with German the night before she was murdered, according to Fox 59 Indianapolis. He allegedly made plans to meet up with her at the bridge where her body was found the next day, but Kline denies that he had anything to do with the girls' killings. Okay, so here, let's go ahead and take a look at Kegan Kline's documents that were registered with the court and made public, but everything that followed would be marked confidential. So I want you to notice the date here. Filed August 19th, 2022. This was the very day that the search the Wabash River took place. This is the day they started. If you want to take screenshots of all these, feel free. Verified motion to seal, August 19th. Motion to seal. Right here. The Sheriff's Department be authorized to temporarily place the defendant in the above captioned cause into the secure custody of Indiana State Police. So everything that any fruit from this here is confidential. We don't have access to that. Now, I'm assuming that's because they didn't want to tip anybody off. So he's basically looks like he's a confidential informant at this point. Okay. So we know that also took place the day the search began. Something else that's very interesting. Let me see, where do I want to go with this? Oh, here it is. Search concluded. This is just a quick little article. Okay, so the tip was provided September 21st, 2022. Okay, so that's basically just a few days prior to this search being concluded. So now, did they find something at that point and they were still looking for a secondary object? Because the rumors were that they were looking for a phone and a blade. Okay, so I'm guessing they actually found the phone September 21st. But let's read this quick little article here. The 5-week search of the Wabash River in Miami County is over. The big question still looms. Is it connected to the murders of Abby and Libby in Delphi? Indiana State Police confirmed to I-Team's 8 Richard Essex that police have concluded their search of the Wabash River in Peru. State police would not confirm what they were searching for or what they may have found. The search appears connected to Kegan Kline, the suspect in the Anthony Schatz child porn case that's also connected to the Delphi murders. The search began August 19th, the same day a court allowed state police to take custody of Kline under a sealed order. Anya Kane and Kevin Greenlee of the podcast The Murder Sheet have been following developments related to the murder of Libby and Abby. This is their quote. Obviously, Indiana State Police did not go on the record saying that, but we had sources who did tell us that it was Delphi related. What's going on, Don Spain? Thanks for calling in yesterday, man. That was awesome. Yeah, Anthony, you're right. KK said, I really like the prosecutor. He's a great guy. And he also said, I met with the guys. Or I met all the guys. Like all the guys of what? Of a team? The prosecuting team? Okay, so at the same point that they received this tip narrative, they're finishing up with the search of the Wabash River. Let's take a look at this here. Well, actually, I think I can show these first, and then we'll play the video. This is another way that they could be connected here. This is from Kegan Kline's interview transcript. And this is what they're saying to Kegan. When you're exchanging child pornography, that's obviously. And then when you're exchanging Dropbox links that go to your Dropbox, that's a different story too. Investigator tells Kegan Kline, Bud, from your Dropbox account off your phone, we have started one of the largest child porn investigations ever undertaken in the state of Indiana. That's big. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that reads big. Like, that's big time, right? And I just think that it is possible that Richard Allen fits in somewhere in there, whether it's directly or indirectly, but connected to that account somehow. Hey, Shadow. Good to see you. I think he'll take a plea too, Sam. I think he'll give us some names. I hope he does. Anthony Shots money. Yep. We know the Anthony Shots account wasn't sending people money. If anything, he's gathering money. Why was he sending? We know he was catfishing, 50 plus girls daily. We know he doesn't have any money to send 50 plus girls money every day. Why was he sending money to Abby and Libby? I did hear that me myself. Him living alone while he had to go work at the Walmart in Illinois. I did hear that. Hey, Lakeside, what's up? Yeah, that's possible. Pack, like a pack killer. Happy 4th, Lakeside. Always good to see you. All right, see if we can catch up on this chat real quick. Hey, Indy. What's up, Chopper? Seeing they have seen them together. Yeah, that would be great if somebody could come forward with that information. Robert Bo Pinnell, what's good? The girls were targeted. The killer had to eliminate the girls for what they knew. Yeah, he seems extremely motivated. I mean, I just don't see a lone wolf going out in the middle of the day after being seen by multiple people attacking somebody that their parents might come running up that bridge looking for them. But it's as if he knew that they were alone. He knew when and where they would be, where they were going, and that nobody was going to come looking for them. A lone wolf isn't going to do that. And not to mention they were a pair. I mean, how many times do you see a lone wolf attack a pair? It just seems too difficult for a coward like that. This is highly motivated, in my opinion. It's a new day. Absolutely 100% lured out there. We've seen lots of proof they were indeed catfished. Okay, let's continue on here. I've somewhat. I will read a couple more. It does look like there's something under the windbreaker, but depending on the crime scene, might still not be enough from a bunch of stuff. Hey, what's up, Bogey? Good to see you. Richard Allen might have been in some kind of debt to the mafia family that wanted to get even with the girl's dad. You kill the girl and we cancel your debt. Yeah, it could be something to attack the family. Killed. The reason I think that that's possible because when you stage a crime scene, that's what you're trying to do. It's usually ritual, um, trying to create distance between your connection, the connection between you and the victim, or to shock somebody when they come upon the scene. Like I warned you, look what happened, type of deal. So I think that's possible. Mr. Schwartz says killers have to start sometime. Yeah, but and I'm not a professional, but when I listen to most of them, they don't think it's likely for a killer to start in the late 40s. I'm not saying it's impossible, but when you think about how he almost got away with it, kind of like this chameleon where he can kind of just do a Jedi mind trick on you, like I was at the trails. Yes, I was dressed like the killer. Did I see the girls? No. Dan Doolin's like, you did not see the girls. You were on the trail, but did not do anything wrong. You know, it's like he's able to put on this mask or something. I don't know. For somebody to be able to do that, it makes me think it is possible that they committed a crime. And maybe they even have a DNA match somewhere. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I think that was for a missing person, and they found that body. They found him. Okay. So right here, the largest CSAM investigation ever undertaken in the state of Indiana from Kegan Kline's Dropbox account. So let that sink in a little bit. So he's saying there's no way possible. They're saying yes. You have a Dropbox. Now you're saying, well, Kegan says, I have a Dropbox. Not that I would send nudes and shit through. Say a lot of people have Dropboxes. Investigator says, are people that communicated with you or you shared images through your Dropbox? Kegan says, yeah, no. And investigators tell him, we start looking at those people and it just freaking spirals out of control to this major CSAM ring. And then the other investigator chimes in, absolutely. And you even have it to the point where when you're getting this CSAM, you're sharing it with your Emily Ann account to your Kegan Kline and then to your Kegan Kline Dropbox account. You can't tell me that the guy that you randomly lived with for a month knows your Dropbox password, knows your phone password. So, I mean, that should paint quite the picture that it's not just Kegan Kline, right? It's not just him. Let's take a look at this video because they also mention why did they delay the arrest. And that's why I wanted to read those documents. You know, if you find and remember, they searched Kegan Kline's home because of Delphi. They didn't run down a tip on the CSAM and say, oh, let's go ahead and start this investigation and bust him for that. No, they went directly and they got approval on a search warrant because of the Delphi case. So there's already a connection there. Kegan Kline would not be in jail now for CSAM if they wouldn't have searched his home for the Delphi case. So let that part sink in just a little bit. But you got to ask yourself, okay, you find all of this disgusting stuff on his devices. Why did you let him go? I think he even asks that here. Okay. So before we play this quick little media clip, Kegan asks, okay, well then why would it take 3 years for them to come and get me? What do you mean? Investigator tells him, because you don't understand. Kegan says, well, that doesn't make any sense. Investigator tells him, like he told you how big this investigation is. I mean, this is, well, a lot of CSAM. So they answered the question right there. Why didn't you arrest me for 3 years? Well, because this investigation is huge. And here in this video, their investigators spoke with law enforcement and told him that because of what they found on his phone, there's been multiple secondary investigations. So let's take a quick look at this here.
Point arrest that may be connected to the murders of 2 young girls in Delphi. State police have now addressed one major question that keeps Getting asked since Wish TV first broke that story last week. Why did it take more than 3 years to make an arrest? News 8's Demi Johnson was the first to report on this case earlier, or last week, I should say, and she's here now. What did you learn today?
Yeah, Phil, this is a rare public statement from state police addressing the timing of charges in a specific criminal case. It shows state police are asking the same question that so many people want answered since our first report. Why was a man who admitted using the profile to get sexual pictures and videos of underage girls allowed to walk free for 3 years?
Detectives with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office and the Indiana State Police have uncovered an online profile named Anthony Schatz.
It was 1 week ago. State police urged anyone who had contact with the social media profile Anthony Schatz to come forward to talk to them. But they had known about the account for more than 3 years. I uncovered court documents last week that showed Kegan Kline admitted in February 2017 that he started the fake profile and that he used it to get more than 100 sexual pictures and videos of young girls. That interview happened February 25th, 2017, just 12 days after the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. But I also discovered it would take until August 2020 for Kline to be arrested.
Well, of course, I question why, but I also
Happy 4th,
don't
Shadow.
have all the information in front of me and the stuff that they were poised, or positioned up against. So I won't question that, at least at this point in time. Now, if I find out something different, I have no problem calling them out. And all those investigators know that, from Doug Carter on down. He knows me, and I have no problem calling them out.
After our reporting, state police issued a statement Monday acknowledging the delay. They say they've conducted dozens of secondary investigations based on information.
Okay, did you guys hear that? Let me play that back.
I have no problem calling them out.
After our reporting, state police issued a statement Monday acknowledging the delay. They say they've conducted dozens of secondary
Dozens of secondary investigations. I wonder how many people are busted. Imagine how many people might be motivated to kill Libby because a Kegan was too stupid and catfishing somebody that he knew personally. Or maybe a couple of people were too stupid, not knowing that he was connected. So if you have, let's say, somebody in a position of power who's over here, a customer trading CSAM and doing all this weird stuff, they might be motivated to silence that.
Investigations based on information in the murders of Abby and Libby. It goes on to say the information we have, and continue to receive concerning Kline has ebbed and flowed over these last few years, and that once the Indiana State Police presented the criminal case to the Miami County prosecutor in June of 2020, immediate action was taken by both the Indiana State Police and the Miami County prosecutor's office, which ultimately resulted in Kline's arrest. It does not say what happened in the case between February 2017 and June of 2020, but does say we will always review, learn from, and make any necessary adjustments. We do not believe that any person has done anything intentionally wrong, but we will continue to critically evaluate our efforts. It ends somewhat cryptically. One day, you will have the opportunity to see and know what we do, and we look forward to that day.
Let's listen to that again.
Evaluate our efforts. It ends somewhat cryptically. One day, you will have the opportunity to see and know what we do, and we look forward to that day.
Okay. So these are some of the reasons that I'm convinced that he's connected. So, I mean, you guys can feel free to dismantle all of that if you want to. But that's everything I have on it. We can spend the rest of the time in the chat. I would love to hear your opinion. If you're catching this replay, leave a comment about what you think. Good to see you, Grizz.
finding file marks and serials. You can scream, but I can't hear you. Leaving only digital misprints of footprints with the imprint, with distraction factors, causing incidents of false captures. My grandfather's father founded secret societies, and now I infiltrate secrets using PSI tricks and quantum mechanics. So through the gas in the nucleus, a partial observer before me.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mike. It's too many man hours.
Under my fake face for you, finding finger holes in the landscape of your psychology simple. I sit in coffee shops with my associates that run about architecture. We left illumination a long time ago in favor for articulated endings. Retraced our steps back to an origin and scar of gray. Stone radio transmissions frequently sending live messages to dead drops. Cool paints on hard stops. Ideas and mobility. Engage. Interlock. Dead shot. Straight to the heart of the antimatter surely.
What's up, Radar?
University through to the anonymous observatory.
What's up, Digital? Robert says the tentacles are deep. It is due to the sea sand. 12 dozens of secondary investigations. That's dozens of potentially violent offenders being affected by the actions of Kegan Kline.
Disconnected from the rest, I wear the badge upon my chest, cause I'm that special field agent. Real top secret, astronomers' deepest legions. Leaning to the left with the laser pens and the x-ray specs, and my shirt fresh pressed, cause I'm the best there is. 706 in shape-shifting colobus, the ancient monolith that fought in every war that God forbids the gatekeeping deep sleeper cell that keeps myself to myself, taught, self-trained. Medicated brain cells, slow and steady balance, so I don't go out all in.
Yeah, that's what it appears to catch a lot of big fish. Shadow. And make sure you guys go check out the Shadow's channel. Shadow Seeks Justice. Great stuff.
Hidden in my belly breath, a wreck of 1,000 deaths already embedded in my memory, but I'm a company man.
So what do you guys think about the information that was provided in the live stream? Do you think it pushes you closer to that theory that they are connected, or further away, or didn't really change and you already knew all that? I'm going to close out the poll. If you want to vote on the poll, do it now.